He knows that he has to be separated from the Father because of death. He said, Peter, can't you just stay away with me for a little while? Because I understand, brothers and sisters, you got to understand. Whenever you have friends, so-called friends, when you're going through, they ain't nowhere to be found. Everybody can't handle the weight of friendship. Jesus said, y'all just watch with me for another hour. He goes to pray and come back, they sleep again. Can you imagine how Jesus is really feeling? They're supposed to be really watching out for him because Judas and the betrayers are on the way. He said, y'all just watch out for me, at least warn me. My question is, how can they be asleep when the cross of Calvary that Jesus is about to endure ain't even about him, but it's about them? Jesus ain't got to die for himself. He's already said, but the only reason that he came down to earth was to die for them. Have you ever, y'all, did some things for some folk out of pure love and they act like it wasn't good enough for them? They always found excuses and they snap their nose up at you, and what you did for them was freely gave honestly from your heart. And to be honest, you so got to have the Holy Ghost to keep your tongue. How you gonna complain when you didn't even have that much when I bless you with? When I just donated you to this, and then you got, I could have kept it for myself. And listen, can you imagine his frustrations? He said, I'm glad that it was Jesus and it wasn't me. Ain't nobody talking here, because I would have packed my bags and said, you can't stay away with me after I done fed you, after I done performed miracles for you, and you mean you can't pray with me for 3 hours? I would have packed my bag. Look how some of y'all looking, this message is too real for you. I would have packed my bags and I'd have said bye-bye. But how many of you know that even when we ain't there for Jesus, even when we ain't there to worship him like we ought to, that he will never turn his back on us? And you know what? If he never does another thing for me, that's why I can proclaim he's already done enough. If he never does anything else for me, God has already done. Look at your neighbor and high five him, I believe, for the third time, and say, neighbor, we got to be there for the Savior. He's now come back for the third time. He said, you know what, I'm so frustrated with y'all. He said, don't even worry about it, just stay asleep. I'll handle this myself. Have you ever had to do a job? You got procrastinators around you. Folks saying, I got you, or what I'm going to do. You can count me in, but when it comes down to it, with that lazy sleep self on the job, you just say, you know what, don't worry about it, I have it. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me in here. Because watch this, y'all, I came to tell y'all, I don't care who get mad in my life, whenever I need you, whenever there was a kingdom assignment on my life and I can't get you to help me, stay asleep. And you can get mad all you want to, but Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care. I'm gonna find me some friends, even if it got to be an angel that's gonna come and you know what? I came to tell y'all, some of y'all need to cut some of these. I almost said something. Y'all need to cut some of all of these African Americans, because I'm on the internet. Some of y'all need to cut some of all of these African Americans out of your life. They ain't there to help you, but they're there to hinder you. And you know what? I just made up in my mind. If you can't help me, all of the hindrance is getting ready to go out the door. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, if you can't help me, I got to let you go. Because the Bible said it itself. It said, let us lay aside, because some people are just dead weight. Let us lay aside every weight. I'm dropping some zeros and